In this screencast I will show you an example process of creating a panorama widget with our creator tool for the use in the Woodwing publishing suite in Adobe InDesign. I'm going to go through the process of uploading a file, creating a preview, tweaking some settings, adding additional functionality and then downloading the final result. Let's start with the panorama file and the preview. I have a sample nice panorama here. Wait until the upload is finished. In the future you could also choose from a library by purchasing such a file or whatever environment you like, and then you have the panorama file and then create the preview. So what this basically does is it invokes the KR Pano tools which are in the background and create all the needed files like the image tiles, the JavaScript player and all the other stuff we need. And when this is done we can see the preview here in this bottom box, which shows us the panorama just as an iPad would see it. So now the next thing is I have to configure this panorama and customize it so that I like it and can publish it. First of all I have to decide which platform I'm targeting, and as I said, in this case I'm going to use the Woodwing HTML widget functionality, so I'll select Woodwing here. The next is some basic settings of the panorama itself. I can say which projection to use. Unfortunately the JavaScript HTML5 player only provides two projection modes, which is normal and architectural. You can see the difference right away, and I'm going to stick with the normal setting, but you can adjust this to your liking. Then the next thing is where should the panorama start and with which zoom levels, and which zoom levels does it provide. So you can configure the initial field of view, which is basically the zoom, in degrees. Right now we have a viewing angle of 90 degrees, and we can zoom out or in with our mouse in the sample, in the preview, and also change the viewing angle at the beginning. And I think I'm gonna decide for this building here to show at the beginning and with this viewing angle, and then I can just use these settings from the preview for here. So the current zoom is 95 degrees, the horizontal viewing angle is this one, and the vertical is this one. So this ensures that my panorama starts at exactly this position when it's being accessed. I can also limit the zoom to some values, but in this screencast I will leave these untouched. Next is some special functionality. The first one is the gyroscope for iPad or iPhone, which I really like because you can steer the panorama with your iPad by moving and tilting it. And another thing that is quite contradictory to the gyroscope is auto-rotate. You can provide the user with the functionality that the panorama moves all by itself. We can see this in a preview by just hitting active here, leaving the settings as the default for now, and then click here at the bottom on update preview. Now we have this button here in the top right corner, where we can start this auto-rotate. As you can see, it moves to a specific vertical viewing angle and then just turns around all the time in a specified speed and after a specified delay. You can configure these values again. So let's go through these quite quickly. We can configure it to start automatically at the beginning when we invoke the panorama. Let's do this. We can say the horizon is let's just stop this for the moment and reset it. So untick auto start and then update preview again, so we can go back to our initial view which we liked. So we can say I want the panorama to start at this position and then after some 1-2 seconds start to turn around on its own, but on the same level. So I'm gonna use just the current setting here and also the field of view so it doesn't zoom. And then I can say after maybe 2 seconds with a speed of 5, we'll see what this is like. It should start automatically. Now let's see this, and it looks like this. After some 2 seconds it starts to turn around at this viewing angle, and if I don't like it anymore I can just deactivate it by this button. I can also configure the button. I can choose from a button set or upload a file. I can also adjust the opacity of the button and the position. This is common for all image overlays which we can place in this panorama. We can always adjust these 4 settings. And to show you what it's like for this one is the alpha setting of this, another offset, move it more towards the center and move it to the top left corner instead. Now when we hit update preview again, we see that the button moved, and you can kind of see through it now because of the opacity. So this is auto start. The next thing is other overlay images, which there are 3 kinds of. Basically we have an intro image which we can let fade out after a specified amount of time. You could, for example, provide some information how to use the panorama, like in this example, and we can also again configure the position and how it looks like. Now here we have it. It's an instruction, and in the real viewer it would fade away after the configured time. I will show you that later. Now I'm gonna deactivate the auto start again because it starts annoying. Update the preview, and now we have this. So back to the images, we have also the possibility of displaying a logo in some corner. This should go to the top right now because in the top left we have the auto rotate button. And the hotspot, which is basically an image which we can close by clicking on it. You can display some descriptions on there maybe. So this is how it looks like. We have the hotspot here, we can deactivate it. We have the auto rotate button which we can use. We have the logo in the top right. So next thing is some credits. We can dynamically transform some text which we can enter here into an image which is displayed just as configured here again. It looks like this. We have the credits now down here. We can also change this to something like this. You can see the image is dynamic, and we can also go back to the default value. So when we're happy with that, we can, as a final step, add some sound to the panorama. It also comes with a button set to activate and deactivate the sound, and we can again configure the button. So we have it here now, activate and deactivate. So if we're all happy with this panorama, how it looks like, then we can just finish our creation by clicking on Create Widget, which basically produces a zipped file, renames it into HTML widget for Woodwing, and then provides it for download. So when we then download the widget, you can see that it's called .html widget. It's 2.3 megabytes in size, which is quite good. And we can have a look at this. Okay, I can't open it, but I can show you the contents on my local web server, which I'm going to do now. So Unzip the file to here. What's this one? So you can see the contents, and we can, unfortunately I put it in the wrong directory, but that doesn't matter. You can see that this is what I just extracted, and then this is it. And as you can see, there is no desktop version available, but we can use the simulator to act as an iPad and see what the panorama would look like. Let's use the right screen size approximately. So this is basically exactly what we wanted. We have the auto rotate button. Yeah, okay. We have this one, we have the sound, all working and ready to be uploaded to Woodwing.